Sammy the Snail's Great Adventure, a tale of patience, friendship, and discovery. In a quiet, peaceful garden at the edge of a small village, there lived a tiny snail named Sammy. Sammy was small, even for a snail, with a shiny brown shell and curious little eyes that peeked out from beneath his shell as he slowly moved across the leaves. While other creatures of the garden, like the birds and butterflies, zoomed around with ease, Sammy was content to move at his own pace, enjoying the beauty of the world around him. But deep down, Sammy longed for an adventure. He dreamed of exploring the far corners of the garden, places he had only heard about from the bees who buzzed past him or the squirrels who raced across the treetops. One bright morning, as the dew sparkled on the leaves, Sammy decided it was time to go on his own adventure. He packed a tiny leaf pouch with some snacks, his favorite moss, and a few tasty bits of fallen fruit, and set off to explore the other side of the garden, a place he had never been before. "I may be slow," Sammy said to himself, "but I'll get there, one step at a time." As Sammy began his journey, he came across a group of ants, marching in a perfectly straight line. They were busy carrying food back to their hill, working together as a team. "Hello, little snail," one of the ants said as they passed by. "Where are you headed?" "I'm going on an adventure to explore the far side of the garden," Sammy replied proudly. The ants smiled. "That sounds exciting. But be careful, the garden is big, and it can be dangerous for someone so small." Sammy nodded. "I will. Thank you for the advice." The ants continued on their way, and Sammy moved forward, determined to see new sights. As the day wore on, he made slow but steady progress, stopping now and then to rest under shady plants or nibble on some tasty leaves. At one point, Sammy found himself at the edge of a large puddle. To Sammy, the puddle looked as big as a lake. "How am I going to get across?" Sammy wondered, feeling a little nervous. Just then, a friendly frog named Freddy hopped up to the edge of the puddle. "Need some help, little snail?" Freddy asked with a grin. Sammy smiled shyly. "Yes, please. I'm not sure how to cross." Freddy chuckled. "Hop on my back. I'll take you across in no time." With Freddy's help, Sammy safely crossed the puddle and continued on his journey, thanking his new friend for his kindness. As Sammy traveled farther into the garden, he began to feel a little tired. The sun was starting to set, and he still hadn't reached the far side of the garden. But just as he was about to take another rest, he heard a voice. "Hello there. Are you lost?" Sammy looked up and saw a beautiful butterfly named Bella fluttering above him. "I'm not lost," Sammy said. "I'm exploring the far side of the garden, but it's taking me longer than I thought." Bella smiled kindly. "Well, it's not the speed that matters, it's the journey. You're almost there. I'll fly ahead and guide you. Follow me." With Bella's gentle encouragement, Sammy pushed forward, his little body inching along the ground as he followed her through tall grasses and over soft moss. Finally, as the last rays of sunlight bathed the garden in a golden glow, Sammy reached the far side of the garden. It was even more beautiful than he had imagined. There were vibrant flowers he had never seen before, buzzing bees collecting nectar, and a gentle breeze that carried the sweet scent of blossoms through the air. "I made it," Sammy whispered to himself, feeling a sense of accomplishment swell inside him. Bella fluttered down next to him. "You did it, Sammy. I knew you could." Sammy looked around, taking in the sights, sounds, and smells of this new part of the garden. "It was a long journey, but I'm glad I took my time. I met new friends, saw new places, and learned that every step counts, no matter how small." As night began to fall, Bella offered to guide Sammy back home, but Sammy smiled and shook his head. "I think I'll stay here a little longer and enjoy the view," Sammy said. "And when I'm ready, I'll make my way back, one step at a time." And so, Sammy the Snail spent the rest of the evening under the stars, proud of the adventure he had taken. He knew that being slow didn't mean he couldn't have great adventures. It simply meant that he could enjoy every moment, one small step at a time.